only that, but she's the fiercest mother that I've ever met in my entire life. So for those of you who may know, there was a website a few years ago called the Silk Road that was basically a cryptocurrency-powered free market. It just allowed people to trade whatever goods and services they wanted that didn't harm anybody else. That was very important for Bitcoin. And the man who created this website is now serving 2 life sentences in prison for the creation of the website. He didn't sell any drugs. He didn't harm a soul. And in fact, the people who did do all that stuff didn't go to prison. So that is insane. And we're going to have his mother here, Lyn Ulbricht, talk about exactly what happened and what she's doing about it. So let's just get her PowerPoint up. All right. The top one? All right, and then just press the right arrow to go. All right, guys, so please give a big warm welcome to Lyn Ulbricht and the Free Ross Initiative.
Well, as Carmen said, my son, Ross, is serving a double life sentence plus 40 years without the possibility of parole for all nonviolent charges. He's a first-time offender. He has no history of violence at all. No one's ever accused him of inflicting any kind of physical harm on anyone. He is a danger to no one. So you think, well, wait a second, how many people did he murder? Oh, no, none. How many buildings did he blow up? Oh yeah, right, none. How many children did he traffic? None. He's in there for a website. He's in there. He's got life sentence for a website that was essentially private and used Bitcoin as the means of exchange only Bitcoin. And because of that, well, first let me say, he was put in a maximum security prison because of this life sentence, which is a very dangerous place, and I'm going to talk about that later. But because the site ran on Bitcoin only, Ross has been called the second most important person in Bitcoin history after Satoshi. A lot of people have told me that. And it's because it proved that Bitcoin could actually be used as money. And it put it on the map. Before that, it was essentially the plaything of geeks. And I think it's a very good possibility that no one would have really heard of it without Silk Road. And I believe it was this upstart currency that John McAfee made the very good case that it's very threatening. It's very threatening to the financial powers, and I believe that is why they came down so hard on my son. And just a little overview of Silk Road. Here are some of the things that were sold on Silk Road. There were plenty of legal items. It was like eBay in a lot of ways. So you can see books and electronics and jewelry and a lot of things. These were not allowed to be mentioned at trial. And it was based strictly on the non-aggression principle. So the top part is an image from the exhibits at trial, but basically the seller's guide said nothing that harmed a third party was allowed. Nothing related to pedophilia or child pornography was allowed. No stolen property, no violence, etc. And so again, why would they come down so hard on Ross? I think it's the Bitcoin. Now, people say that Bitcoin's a scam, or Bitcoin's currency, or Bitcoin's a store of value. And I would suggest that Bitcoin is an idea as well. Bitcoin is an idea. It's a philosophy. And it's a very revolutionary idea. And as Ross writes, I don't know if I'm at where I am in this. Oh, yeah, sorry. Bitcoin equals freedom. He wrote this in an essay called Bitcoin Equals Freedom. And of the early adopters, this is what he wrote. They dreamed of a future where the economic power of the world is accessible to everyone, where value can be transferred anywhere with a keystroke. And they dreamed of prosperity and freedom. That's the undermining force behind Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And again, I believe it is why they came down so hard on Ross. And from this quote, you can see that the judge knew that. This is from the sentencing transcript. And she said, it's notable that the reasons you started this site, Silk Road, were philosophical, and I don't know that this is a philosophy left behind. In other words, well, you might not have dropped this really dangerous and troubling philosophy, that's her words, so I'm going to have to put you in a cage for the rest of your life because that's just too threatening. We're not supposed to be caged for our philosophy. We're not supposed to be caged for our political views. And it's something everybody in here needs to really pay attention to. That's what they were afraid of. Ross also wrote in another essay, Bitcoin Magazine published it in their 10th anniversary. It was called Happy Birthday Bitcoin. And he talks about how the technology can repair injustices and revolutionize the globe into a more equitable society where, everybody has a chance. And in it he says, I'll just read from the little bit from it. Bitcoin needs us to continue guiding it with the values it was founded on that gave it its potential. We must keep our focus on decentralization, privacy, and empowering individuals. It's a technology with the power to make abstractions like peace and equality into reality. But it's up to us to embody such ideals and be role models for the ever-growing Bitcoin community and for Bitcoin itself. 2 billion people in the world are unbanked. They don't have access to being able to start businesses or have a house and all of this, and Bitcoin can provide that. I was just recently at a conference called the Black Blockchain Conference in DC, and a lot of people from Africa were there. And they're trying to bring this to Africa because it would give so many people the opportunity that we have through cryptocurrency. Again, very threatening to the powers that be, and why the government went after Ross so hard, I believe. And I was very convinced. I wasn't sure. I thought, oh, well, it's a drug case, blah, blah, blah. And then I saw the other the defendants in the case and what sentences they got. So this is a chart, and you can see their sentences. It ranges from 10 years to no time. Jan Slomp was convicted of being the biggest drug seller on Silk Road. He has the same offense level as Ross, got 10 years. The two corrupt agents, there were two corrupt agents involved in the case. They went to prison for stealing and potentially changing things on the site that were used as evidence. And they're 6 years, 8 years. And then there was a copycat site called Silk Road 2 that the government said was bigger. It was identical, but bigger. Sold more drugs. The guy running that, Blake Benthall, he was in for 13 days. He has no sentence. He never went to trial. And now it was discovered by Vice that what he has to do is he has to pay back taxes for 2 years. He's essentially equivalent to Ross, and Ross got double life plus 40. Then again, Ross came up with a really dangerous idea. This is just from the Bureau of Prisons, just to show you Ross's official listing there. Release date, it says life. It should say death. He's been given a walking death sentence for this. And Blake Benthall, well, he was released November 2014, 13 days after his arrest. I think it came out about a year ago. Snowden papers revealed, The Intercept published it, that the government was very, very concerned about Bitcoin when the Silk Road, became known. And the NSA, the full power of the government, and the NSA was urgently tracking Bitcoin users a few months before Ross's arrest and the Silk Road was taken down. They're supposed to be going after terrorists and protecting us. They're more worried about people using cryptocurrency than terrorists, apparently. There's so much to this story. There's so much that's wrong. I mentioned the corrupt agents. These guys had keys to the kingdom. They could go in there and not only steal money from vendors, but change passwords, keys. They could act as DPR, the lead investigator, and other aliases. Totally tainted the evidence, and it was allowed to be used at trial. There's lots of, then after trial it came out that probably another rogue agent deleted evidence that would have potentially exonerated Ross. It also came out that DPR, after Ross's trial, when he was in solitary, logged into Silk Road. I mean, there's lots of anecdotal as well as hard evidence that there were many administrators, but they wanted their trophy. They wanted to say, we got the guy, and Ross is serving life for what everyone did on the site, or didn't do. There's also, and you may, if you're familiar with the case, have heard that Ross was accused by the government of arranging murder for hire, but then when it came to bringing charges in court, they didn't have those charges. They dropped them, and yet the judge used them, uncharged allegations, to justify her sentence. Later, another indictment that mentioned them has been dropped with prejudice. No charges at all exist, and yet the judge used it to justify her sentence. And apparently, this is done in our country. You don't have to, you can be acquitted, you could not even be charged like Ross, and a judge can say, well, I'm more important than a jury, and I decide it's true. I think it's true, so I'm going to put you away. And we challenge this all the way up to the Supreme Court because it's a violation of the Sixth Amendment, right to be judged by a jury of your peers. And they didn't seem to care about it. So we have, it's so complicated, I can't go into a lot of the case or anything. Oh, and here's another thing showing, this was written about, that it was the murder for hire charges were dropped. So we have something called Railroaded on our site, and it's, if you want to dive deep, you can go there, you can listen to it. It's a podcast now, as well as written out. It's totally based on the public record. I would love to be able to have other citations, like all the encrypted and sealed evidence the government refuses to release about this case. We didn't, but even with the public record, it's pretty jaw-dropping. And we're calling it Railroaded because Ross was railroaded right into a maximum security prison. Here he is with his fellow prisoners in Florence, Colorado. All of them nonviolent drug sellers or offenders serving life sentences. Nonviolent drug offenders serving life. So, for instance, and I know that I've met several of them. I'm in touch with their families and other people in there. For instance, Tony, who is third from the left standing, he is serving life for marijuana. Marijuana. The prison happens to be in Colorado, but it's federal, in a federal compound. Guy's serving life. He's already done 15 years. The guy, Jose, who's far right kneeling, it was a third strike, which is this terribly evil law, that his third strike was residue on a dollar bill. He's serving life, essentially, for residue on a dollar bill. This is what our criminal justice system is doing to people. And they're making tons of money off of it, and they're shredding our rights. And so, as people who believe in and care about freedom, we really should care about what's going on in the criminal justice system. And they're building lots of prisons. I mean, we all could be, there's a book, 3 felonies a day. We all could be thrown in there, literally can. Here I am visiting Ross in Florence. Behind me is a sniper tower, one of many, and 3 layers of razor wire. His security score puts him in a camp, and they put him in there because of his sentence. And he had to contend with violent gangs, dangerous people. There were stabbings, there were beatings, pretty serious stuff, say the least. He refused to participate in an assault on another inmate, which made him a target. He was put in protective custody where he was kept in a 8x10 metal box with no window for 3.5 months. And then he was thankfully moved to another maximum security prison, but one, they put people who are targeted, and so he's safe, at least. He's safe. He was living on the edge of every minute. Is someone going to come up and stab me? It's that kind of environment. He managed it. So here I am in a creepily similar place. I did a speaker series in Eastern Europe, and this is Auschwitz. This is the German concentration camp, Auschwitz. It is a very sobering experience to be there. And I overheard a tour guide say to his group, he said, "The lesson here is watch your politicians. This wasn't that long ago." There's people still alive who remember Auschwitz. And of course there's, look at North Korea. I mean, this is going on now. But what I would say is, for us, watch our government. This is happening now in the United States. Here's what's happened to the prison population since the war on drugs. It's metastasized 800%. They're just putting people in there, building more prisons. This is mass incarceration, huge moneymaker, and again, shredding our rights in the process. If the prison population were a state, it's bigger than 11 states. It's its own state. They do this with life sentences like Ross's, which have quintupled since the 80s. So there are over 17,000 non-violent, never hurt anybody, people serving life. So here we are, #1 incarcerator in the world, land of the free. This is serious. This is really, really horrible. What's going on? I've gotten to know the families. I see the children going in there and seeing their fathers clinging to them and then leaving shattered, sobbing, harmed. And the statistics show that they will probably go into the system. They will feed the mass incarceration monster, and it will continue multi-generational. This is un-American, plain and simple. This wasn't happening before the drug war, and it needs to stop. After 45 years and over $1 billion, I think it's pretty well established that the drug war doesn't work, except for the people who are making tons of money. But it works great for them. I mean, seriously, even the government knows that they're even as inefficient and as they are, it's working really well for them. They know it doesn't work to stop drug use, but it's working quite well if what you want to do is control people and throw them in prison and make a lot of money. So here's a picture of Ross before. Now he's in prison after. He's getting older. We all are. He's 35 now. He was 26 when he started Silk Road, created it. So like thousands of others, he's growing older than there. His life is being wasted. He has so much to give. I would so love to see him here with all of you. He would love it. He'd be having so much fun. And he's no threat to anybody. And, his family's being deprived, as are all these other people's, plus society, plus all of us. It's a huge human waste as well as financial, because it'll cost over $2 million to keep Ross in prison for his lifetime. But hopefully that will not happen. So I want to read just one more thing he wrote, because he's written about the prison experience and what prison is. And he wrote a essay called Who Deserves This? And he's really talking about how our system now is based on vengeance and punishment. They call it corrective. That's the biggest joke. It's a criminal training ground is what it is. But it's also punishment. It's about vengeance. And he said, I can prove to you it's torture. Because he went around and talked to a bunch of fellow prisoners and said, okay, which would you choose? For a finite time being tortured, like, horrible physical torture, or this endless time in prison, which would you pick? They all picked torture. I'll just tough it out for however long and get out of here. So he wrote, Vengeance, and this is his handwriting. He was working on his penmanship, by the way. He got a book on it because he can't type. So anyway, it's gotten a lot better. Vengeance and cruelty are not aspects of our nature to be honored and institutionalized. They are base and destructive. They hurt all parties. Our families and communities are hurting. Humanity is hurting. The pain of your fellow human being is your pain too, even though it's locked away in remote prisons. We can do better. We have the potential to rise above the darkness, to be proud of how humanely we treat prisoners and how few we need to brand with that label. Instead, we hand out years, decades, and lifetimes of imprisonment to virtually every person the government targets. We keep building cells like the one I'm writing this from. And he concludes saying, prisoners are not inventory. We are not numbers or statistics. We are human beings, and we don't deserve this. I've learned a lot about our criminal justice system up close and personal from this experience fighting for my son. And I've learned that it's not necessary. I mean, yes, there are some people society needs to be protected from, but there are so many that we could treat this in a more enlightened way and a lot less expensive way in so many ways. So I would suggest to you, this is an important case. I mean, it's important for cryptocurrency. People are being put in jail for various things related to cryptocurrency. It's important for sentencing excessiveness and what we're doing to our people. I really encourage you to not forget Ross and not forget the people in prison, and I know you guys will, keep fighting for freedom, because I believe we're losing our freedoms. We're at a tipping point in history. And, we're kind of at this crossroads. We're going to either go down the road of more government intrusion and control and surveillance, or we're going to go towards innovation and change and all the things that we've been talking about here. But we're really at a tipping point, and we've got to push it over to the good side. It's going to be hard. It's not easy. In Ross's case, being high profile sets a precedent. I'm working hard to try to get the attention of the president to have him see that this sets a terrible example for excessive sentencing. And so that brings me to our petition. Just go to freeross.org or freeross.org/petition. We have over 206,000 signers already in a year. I'm going for at least 250, because then I can say 250,000. I really like that million, And just to say, look, this many people care about this. This sets a horrible precedent for what's going on in our country. So, while we're all enjoying this and enjoying our freedom, Ross is a real person who's fighting for his life, fighting to get out of that cage. And so any way you can help me, spread the word about the petition. Anybody who has any contacts in the government, please get a hold of me. Go to freeross.org. Every footer has you can click to get a hold of me. It's really easy to get a hold of me. Of course, we always need, and people have been very kind to donate. It's really expensive to fight the government. It's just endlessly expensive. And I also want to invite you to join us with something that Clive brought up. We are having every evening, 7 p.m. Pacific to 10 p.m. Eastern, people are taking a second to visualize Ross free. We're doing it together. I set my alarm on my phone, and I invite you to join us. I believe that. I believe that if enough people are visualizing Ross free, praying for that, however, just seeing it a reality, we can make it real. He can come out and help fight for what we're all fighting for. So I really appreciate your support and for hearing about Ross. Thank you.
everyone. So this has been a great honor to have Lyn here and speak. And what we're doing to try and support the Free Ross Initiative is right now we're about to have an auction. We have a couple of things that we're going to be auctioning off. All the money is going to be going to Lyn and this cause. So please stick around and please participate in the auction. I would like to bring up our auctioneer extraordinaire, Sterling Lujan.
I did an auction just like this at Anarcho Vegas. Do you guys want to know how I started that auction off? Pretty sure I was liquored up and doped up, and I said, "Come on, motherfuckers, let's do this auction!" Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be quite that energetic today, but we do have a couple of awesome pieces that we're going to try to. Do we have? Okay. Yeah. Okay.
We kind of got a skateboard themed party going on after this, so we figured we would have one of the items be a Mirror One. The artist Mirror One did one of his graphics on a skateboard. So for anybody who wants to mount that to their wall or maybe even ride it, I wouldn't ride it. I would mount the shit out of that. I would frame it. That is.
Yeah, this is an amazing piece of art. What's that, Pat?
7 out of 15. That's the 7.
Okay, 7. This is 7 out of 15 on the skateboard. So we're going to start this one off, guys, at $50. Do I have anybody who wants to perhaps put in a bid for this $50 skateboard? Okay, $50. We have Chuck down here for one. $50. Can anybody match that or beat it? $66 from Pat. On $77 from Chuck. Come on, guys. $111. $111 for said skateboard. $117. $122. Chuck. Can anybody beat my cryptocurrency man, Chuck, in the corner? $177 to this gentleman in the front row. Can anybody take on $177 for this beautiful piece of artwork? $222. Chuck. And remember, the proceeds, of course, are all going to Free Ross. So this is a very important matter. What do you have, Chuck? $222. Can anybody beat $222 for this beautiful piece of artwork? $277, gentlemen in the front row. Chuck, it's not looking good for you, bro. What do we have, $277? $277. I think that I may have to declare a winner. $277 to the gentleman in the front row. And for everybody, I believe Lyn will gladly accept cryptocurrency as well as part of this process. Yeah, you can speak with Lyn directly. Yeah. Yep, thank you. Mm-hmm. Okay. So who knows our guy Howard here? He spoke yesterday. He's got this amazing book. He gave me a copy very early on, and he has since iterated upon it. And it's addressed to the normies. I think that's a term Derek used, right? And it's called Understanding Our Slavery. And I'm gonna start the auction for this wonderful book. And he's got a drive here that has the book on it and information, as I understand.
This is the only drive I brought, and so like a bunch of people had wanted to buy the drive. It's the only one I got, so this is your chance.
This is it. So I think it would be fair to start for both of these fine products at $20. So $20. Do I have a bid? Chuck, $20. Understanding Your Slavery. $33. Pat. $44. Chuck, don't lose this time, bro. Jesus. $44 to Chuck. Who's got it? Understanding Your Slavery. Beautiful piece of work. Good philosophy. $50 to some unknown person. Oh, Derek, $50. You're not going to get beat by bros, Chuck. $60. Gentlemen in the front. $60. Understanding Your Slavery. All going to Free Ross. How much? $77. Derek Bros. Understanding Your Slavery. $80. Who said $80? $80. Gentlemen in the front. What's your name, sir? Jason. Can anybody beat Jason? Jason, say that number one more time so we know. 111. Derek Bros. 120. Kind woman in the back here. 120. Who else? $120. Understanding Your Slavery. $150. Derek Bros. 155, yes ma'am. 155, going once, going twice. $200, Derek Bros, Understanding Your Slavery. Can anybody beat Derek in this nice race to the finish? $222, Understanding Your Slavery. Howard, man, can I have a copy of this later for free? Jesus. All right, 220? 222, okay. 250, Understanding Your Slavery. Going to a great cause. Can anybody? 252. Am I declaring a winner at $252? I don't know what a good gematria is. You're right. Sold. Come please. Claim your prize.
Everybody give a round of applause for everyone supporting Lyn Ulbricht. Mars people start at 45. It's Organite. It heals your energy.
What's it called?
Organite.
It's Organite. Okay. Gotcha. All right, now we have a nice piece of artwork here, an Organite necklace that heals the body and the soul and the mind. Even though I've never heard of Organite before, this looks like an absolutely beautiful piece. What did you say we start at on this one? Carmen. Where do you, $45. $45 for this homemade, beautiful piece of art. Do I have any takers? $45. $45. Jason. 55. What's your name, sir? Sonny. $55. Is it Sonny? Sonny. Awesome. Good name. Sonny, $55. Can anybody defeat Sonny in the race for the Organite charm?
She is an Organite master, apprentice of Jay Parker.
Gotcha. So Jacqueline is her name, is an Organite master who crafted this beautiful piece of work. Okay, sorry, I couldn't hear the rest of that, but just know that this person who made this is absolutely amazing. Where are we at with Sonny here? 55? Jay Parker, okay. Very, very nice. It's awesome. So $58 to the gentleman in the back. $60. Where do we have 60? Jason, $60?
$12 in Litecoin.
$12 in Litecoin. I don't think that works that way. With the exchange, it's going.
Yeah.
We're going to hedge our bets on the altcoin market. All right, so we have 68. Oh, I'm trying to up your bid a little bit there, huh? So $77 to the young lady. Do we have anybody else? Absolutely. Everything here is for the cause of getting Ross out of those hellholes called prisons. $80. Jason. Somebody's going to have to beat this soon because this thing is weighing my arm down. It's getting, and I try to work out sometimes. I follow Gina's advice, but I'm getting weak. So what do we have? $80. Can anybody beat $80? Anybody in the house? I know anarchists, $81? $97 for this piece of Organite. 111. Who said 111? 111, awesome, bro. $111 for the Organite charm going to Free Ross. Going to a good cause. $111, do I have any? 123. Man, this is riveting, isn't it? I thought anarchists were all broke. So we're $125. Or Organite charm crafted by a master. Do we have any bidders? Anyone else? Would you say 120? You see, my short-term memory is awful. 125. Okay. You know, I told them earlier I'm not deficient because before I work out, I drink Bang energy drinks, and they have magnesium. If I'm not deficient, that's the only reason why. Right? A little. What? $133 to the gentleman in the third row. Bitcoin? Oh, Victor. I thought you said Bitcoin. You could pay Bitcoin, Victor, if you want.
You can pay in crypto, but just auction in dollars.
Yeah.
We don't get all
Yeah, right. How about 1 Bitcoin for the Orgonite charm? All right. $133 to Victor. Is that the final order here? I will accept. 137. Victor, are you okay? He's done. You put him to sleep. All right, 133, $148. Orgonite charm. $148 for the charm. Going once, going 150. 150. She's all right. $150 to Free Ross for the Orgonite charm. Do I have any other bids? If not, it is going to be sold to the young lady in the front row, second row. What's your name?
Haley.
Haley, thank you so much. It's to a great cause. And get with Miss Lynn. All right, Carmen, what's next on the agenda? What's funny about it, I start doing these auctions, and then people just start walking up to me with items. I love that. Like they're pulling shit out of their pockets. Here you go. How about this chapstick? $5. My wife actually made this chapstick, but I've used it. You may not want to. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm germy, right? All right, what's next?
So the next thing, we can get it to display, right? Which looks like we're having some issues. I'll take 12 future chapsticks.
Hey, talk to me after this. She makes awesome chapsticks.
No, I mean, so yeah, we're gonna display it.
Okay. Those are that's an extra charge.
All right, yeah. So.
Okay.
This is Derek Brose's partners, Miriam's. This is one of her prints. It's not here, but it will be mailed to you. We're going to start at 111.
Gotcha. All right. And
All
Miriam.
right, one more caveat. Hang on.
Quickly, it's all freehand wood burning, and I'll send you this one or a unique made one just for you.
Yeah. Miriam does fantastic work. I've seen these prints in person. I know she showed me one time when she had one. What is the price point we're starting at?
111.
All right, $111 is the starting bid for this, and they're absolutely gorgeous. I love her work. Do we have a starting bid? You guys just proved. Okay. $111 right here, starting bid. Thank you, sir. $111. Can anybody beat this? You guys just proved you're not broke. So I don't want to hear any excuses. 122. See how well that worked? That's called psychology, folks. $122. $122. Can we have $125 from the gentleman in the fourth row on the left, my left. 144? What's your name? Chris. That's awesome, man. $144. Man, God, I love doing auctions. I should just start being an auctioneer. I should quit my cryptocurrency job and go into being an auctioneer. I probably make less money. Okay, so what do you got? 144. We have $144 for Miriam's beautiful piece of artwork. 177. Gentleman in the back row. You're a friend of mine, aren't you? I think you're all friends. This guy I talked to for a while. 170, is that what you said? 177. Okay, 177. I hate these awkward non-round numbers. $177. Can anybody beat $177 for Miriam's print? It's $202. Gentleman in the second row on the left. $202. And I'm going to say this a lot, but this is to an amazing cause. My very good friend, Lyn Ulbricht, and her son, Ross, who we need to get out of prison as soon as possible. Yeah! Fuck yeah! Well, I know I'm not in front of a group of normies. Derek used that term, and now I'm using it all the time. It's not, man, I feel bad. Okay. 202. Okay. $202. Do we have anybody who can beat the nice round number of $202 for Miriam's gorgeous piece of art? 244. God, these numbers, 244. $244. Anybody willing to take it a step up? $244. I would. It looks, man, that's awesome, and it's not a print, right? This is actual burn, yeah, actual artwork. 204. Yep. So $244. Do we have anybody? 303, gentleman in the back. $303. $303. Do I have any other bids? 333. Was it Chris? Chris. I can't remember numbers, but I sometimes can remember names. Chris, 333. 370, that's okay. We'll just play with the numbers a bit. No, 333. Chris in the front row. Can anybody defeat Chris? $333 for Miriam's piece of art. Woodburn. 353. What's your name, sir? Oh, Battle of the Chris's. Chris, second row, and Chris, first row. 333? Oh, 353. Yeah, man, I downgraded. 353. Yeah, you are helping. You can help me out by throwing your bid in the table, Chuck. $353. Do I have anyone else who wants to challenge Chris, one of the Chris's? Does the other Chris want to jump in again? $400. Man, golly. I'm going to get you to buy me a drink after we're finished. 400? Okay, now we're talking. Now a nice round number. $400 for Miriam's beautiful piece of 404. Chris, $404. You know, I naturally have to look down this way, right? Right. $404. You know, at some point it becomes a duel, right, between two people. Maybe a third will. Somebody in the back row will raise their hand and say $500. I'm just waiting for it to happen. $404. $404. Going once. Going twice. 444. 444. See, I told you it was a duel. Take 10 paces. Turn and draw and fire. All right. What's the number? What's the nice number we got? Okay, what do you got here? 444. Going once, going twice, sold to Chris for $444. Thank you for your generosity, and it'll be well worth it. That's awesome work. I've seen it in person. Great stuff. And talk to Miriam. She'll tell you a few secrets as well that she has. See, there she is. And remember, it's all for free, Ross. And the most important thing we can do at this event, I think, is to do what we can to help Ross. Yeah.
This is officially sold out. Mir One print. Mir is a visionary conspiracy artist. He's got a lot of dope art. Really in depth. I chased Candace and Mir down for the past 6 months to get him to send something out here, He painted 2 awesome murals at Anarchadelphia 2018. He couldn't make it out here this year. He's definitely going to come next year. Maybe we can get him to do something on FDR skate park, which would be dope. But guess we're going to, well, you do this. It's your thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I saw Mir One, and the skateboard is also his work, as we talked about. I saw him doing work in the flesh at Anarchadelphia at least 1 year, maybe it was 2 years. And the guy is absolutely phenomenally talented. And this particular piece, it clearly shows our servitude. It's got all the ruling class here. I can't. Yeah, that's right. False prophets. Yeah, that's an apt title. And we got the all-seeing eye. A lot of very powerful symbolism that I think we can all relate to. And we are going to start the bid on this amazing print at $750. $777. Pat is already off on the ball. $777 for this print wall hanging from Mir One. And I believe this is the final main piece. So this is sold out. This is the penultimate auctioneering event. Mir One, $777 to Pat. And is this also signed, by the way? Okay, so this is also signed by the artist. And numbered, correct. So $770. Do we have anybody? 707. Is that what 7? Okay, yeah. Jesus, I just say numbers randomly, right? I get up here and I'm like an RNG. I'm a random number generator. So that's what happens when you work in tech, right, Chuck? You just start slinging out numbers. All right, so $707 to Pat. 770. See what I tell you? You want to come up here and do the auction? $770, right? 77. Seven. Oh, the lucky. Okay, 3 lucky sevens. Okay, now I got it. It's burned into my brain. $777. Who can defeat Pat at $777 for this Mir 1 print? That's absolutely amazing. Any takers? $777. All right, we're on a countdown now. Don't show me how poor you are. $777. Going once, going twice, going 3 times sold to Pat. You guys are actually doing okay. So hey, uh-oh.
I think it should be. Well, I mean, I guess fuck it, why not? We're kind of behind schedule. What is it? Yeah, no, we're pretty much done. Sorry, Jimmy. We're behind schedule.
Yeah, close it up. All right, guys, that's all for the auction. Appreciate your time, and really, thank you for helping to support Lyn and Ross, and hopefully get him out of prison as soon as possible. And all of this money is contributing to this amazing cause. And remember, if you haven't signed the petition, if you haven't signed the Free Ross petition, go to freeross.org, sign the petition. Oh, I think we're done on time,
We're done.
Carmen?
We're done. Yeah, we're finished. That's it.
Okay.
All right, cool. Hey guys, we really appreciate your support. We've raised multiple thousands of dollars throughout this tiny little auction for the Free Ross initiative, and that's, as far as lawyers go, that's not that much, but it's a significant amount. If we keep doing this and keep supporting Lyn and keep getting the message out there, that's what we need to do. If you guys can't afford to donate money, please just go to freeross.org and sign the petition. That petition now has over 200,000 signatures, and if we can get that up by another 50,000, that's 250,000 signatures saying there's something wrong with this man's sentence, something needs to be done about it. So if that's all you can do, that's more than enough. Please go to freeross.org and sign the petition. You can do it on your phones right now. It takes 1 second. All right, cool. So yeah, and the people who purchased something, I saw you already paid already. You got taken care of. The people who purchased something, please congregate over in that vestibule over there, and we will get that whole transaction taken care of so we can get Lyn the money and the finances and the support she needs. Thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. That's fucking amazing that you were able to raise that much. It's so awesome. Huh? Yeah. All right, cool. Now we're going to have a word from one of our sponsors before we get into another. I keep trying not to say that they're my favorite, but this whole entire conference is my favorite. It's all my favorite shit. This stuff is so unique and awesome. So we're going to have KOH. Oh, whoops. Shit happens. Maybe next year I'll afford a projector guy, and we can just. All right, cool. Sick. All right, so without further ado, KOH Exchange is going to come up and share some of their shit with us. That one's good. Do you need a mic too, bro?
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody. Like, how can you follow up that? That was great. I mean, to Free Ross, I don't have much experience or I just saw a video in the past about Free Ross. I've understood the Silk Road. I haven't been a part of it too much. But it's a big cause. It really needs to, it's fucked up. Like, what they're doing is fucked up, so. Hopefully we can make it.
Just about 2 life sentences. That's.
So hopefully we can make it. So hopefully we can make a big difference with the Free Ross campaign. Like, I'm very excited to be here. Haven't been to an Anarchy convention. I love it, and I have Anarchy in heart because. So we're the KOH Foundation, and our name means Kindness of Humanity Exchange, and we're setting up an exchange that the trading fees go to charities that are well vetted and actually doing good projects. And this is my project, this is my partner, Patrick Booth. We've been open for like 2 months, so we've been working really hard. Everything else is just sort of organically happening.
So the entire premise of what we're doing is we are operating a 0x web mesh system, which will be a decentralized exchange. And this decentralized exchange will be hosted by charities, nonprofit 501c3 enabled charities. And they're going to be able to deploy the funds and liquid capital to any cause via liquidity between the people that are involved with this exchange and what assets they trade from crypto to crypto. Because, in the United States of America, it's practically a 35% capital gains trade on each crypto to crypto transaction you do. I know this, I manage many crypto assets. Nonetheless, most people don't, and it's not necessarily spoken about well, nonetheless. just something to bring up. Not that regulation is what we like, but it's something that we have to adhere to with this business model.
Yeah, disclaimer, we are in cahoots with the government right now, so.
Yep, absolutely. So the premise of this entire exchange is not to make regional markets, but also to help people understand what the cryptocurrency market has to offer in smart contract format. There are many amazing new developments coming from Web3, and I think it's a great way to teach people about cryptocurrency. We're actually trying to onboard people to get a little bit deeper into the functionality of blockchain and what it has to offer. So that's why we're going to be hosting certain projects and allowing the community to also chip in on what projects they would like to see included onto our decentralized exchange. So yeah.
So as I said, this is my business partner. He's my CTO. As y'all can see, he's very technical. He's got a lot of the technicalities. He's been studying trading for a long time. He's been studying trading for a long time. I've been studying the markets and just watching the markets. Of course, all of us know the markets are very volatile. A lot of people, the psychology of it, I bought in at 20,000, I got in at 10,000. We're not really trying to revolutionize the wheel, saying, oh, we're going to change cloud computing, and so give us $123 million and we'll get back to you in a few. It's cloud computing. We're literally opening up a decentralized exchange, and the biggest part is we really want to see a true freedom market, just like how Ross had a freedom market. Like, we don't want to have KYC, we don't want to have AML, but at this point with investing and actually building a business and providing liquidity to these charities, we have to comply with the government. So, they want 35% of taxes. I hope that we can take those 35% and instantly give it to charities, to impact charities that are actually doing good and actually, like with Free Ross. Like, I would love to see that.
Absolutely.
So that's why it's great that we followed up this. It's sad.
Nonetheless, the premise of this is really to not just create a decentralized exchange that we own, but you guys own. In fact, you can get our token just by going to our website, by scanning this QR code. Once again, I put it back up. And once you go to the website, you can just get 50 free co. And you give us your smart contract address on the Ethereum platform, and we give you our token. And it's just like that.
So we're doing an airdrop where everyone is welcome to participate in our airdrop and have tokens. We will be doing security tokens to have share in our company, and essentially we're going to move to a platform where it's decentralized and it's a utility token. You're using an exchange, and the difficulty with decentralized exchange is that it's difficult. It's so much easier to go on a centralized exchange and be like, well, here's my money. Now I can click and I get my money back, but now I have to withdraw. Blockchain is very difficult. I've been studying for 3 years and I still feel like a newbie. So
wow.
There's a lot to learn.
Nonetheless, what we're doing here is something that I've been studying for quite some time, and that we have a team backing us as well. We have a community of a few hundred so far, and
National, yeah.
nonetheless, I'm great, and I feel great to support such a noble cause when it comes down to implementing Web3 tech into a format that people can learn on. A lot of people here don't actually know what the possibilities of blockchain really are. They just know that it's used for finance. It's used for many more utilities. So it's going to be awesome. And plus, we want the community to come and nominate charities as well, charities that they would like to see get involved, because we are currently in talks with multiple parties. And you can catch us at Coinvention later on the 21st and the 20th. So.
So the biggest thing is about how do we have passive donations? Like, I don't know how many people in this crowd today have thought like, oh, who do I want to donate today? Like, I just really want to donate some money today. You look in the mirror like, man, I need to be donated to. Like, I need a few dollars. So
the premise is that the average American only gives about $1,600 to charity in their lifetime. That's the way it is. It's known as the third sector. And we cover that in depth on our white paper. You can check it out by checking out the QR code.
This man wrote the white paper, and when I read it on the plane over here, I've been reading it and I cried a little bit. Like, it was beautiful. So.
Nonetheless, we are doing interviews with people as well over at our KOH booth, where I put them inside of a digital VR blockchain. So feel free to stop by, ask us any questions about what we're doing, and have an amazing conversation about blockchain and what this means for society as a whole.
So does anyone have any questions about exchanges or what you would, or any suggestions about what you would want to see in charity and exchanges? Like, I mean, everyone I've talked to mostly is about no KYC, and I get it. Like, the only KYC I've done are know your customer, where you have a selfie and have your ID. I got $50 in stellar lumens to dox myself, to give my information over to another corporation. Yeah, so initially when you get on the blockchain, there can be a way of just like, some people just want to trade cryptocurrencies. They just want to get on there, liquidate or trade or make money. So you don't necessarily have to, but with the nodes are the end transaction points that actually process all the back end. And our charities are going to be hosting the nodes. So you can say, yes, I want to use this node, and then they get the transaction fees.
Yep.
So for cancer or for animals or for whatever.
Yeah, and the nodes will literally be listed by name of the charity and the organization. That way, the front end isn't going to be complicated. You don't really have to understand any technical jargon. You just click a drop-down menu and go to a specific charity on a list that you really want to integrate with. And all your proceeds are practically pledged to that node. Yes? Yeah, it's the 0x protocol right now. That's what our prototype is. But we are looking forward to actually getting our money transmitter license and bit license before moving forward. That way, we can actually be, uncompliant nonetheless. That's the whole premise of all of this, is that a lot of these centralized exchanges are actually restricted for US users. I bet not too many people understood that. But literally, we can't use Ethernex, we can't use DDEX. IDEX has a regional market. So decentralized exchange systems are so powerful that the powers that be, the status quo, aren't necessarily trying to allow this technology to move forward. So yeah, it's a little bit restrictive, but we're still going to get over that hurdle nonetheless. And we do have code. It is on GitHub.
So with open source, my biggest issue with open source is, a lot of us have taken a standpoint of open source. Oh, it's open, so it's secure. For 9 years, we had Heartbleed and SSL. SSL, to other people, it's a secure socket layer. When you go to a web page, HTTPS, right? If there's an S there, now there's no middleman attacks. Well, with open source SSL, for 9 years, there was a bug. It was called Heartbleed. And so open source can be good, can be bad. What we know about it on the good standpoint is that people can contribute to it. Now, do I really have to allow you to contribute to it? No, not if it's my own project. But with open source, you can take it and manipulate it to your own project. My view on an exchange is, yes, we have a prototype exchange built on the OX protocol, which is, I've been studying a little SEC. Every different web page with SEC, you learn something new. And so, but when it comes down to it, we don't want to build on frameworks that might have bugs. Like, we really want to innovate. Like, we can actually tell you that it's secure. That's why I haven't been in the computer industry for, I got in, I'm 32 now, and I got in when I was 8. I had my first business doing web hosting when I was 15. I sold it because marijuana was nice. But it's just, there's not a lot of security out there. It's a mindset of security. Like, and millennials, they would rather have faster loading web pages than security. But really, when it comes down to holding a lot of assets and a lot of digital currency, you need real security. And we don't want to just stack frameworks over and over. That's the problem with internet. It's like, we got the web page up in 2 days, and we got WordPress is, I think, 70% used in the market, and it's 70% hacked. So it's really, what are you willing to suffer? But yes, open sources, everything's going to be transparent. That's what really brought me to the blockchain. I was going to, I really wanted to start a healthcare for animals, and it's like, how do you, blockchain's perfect because it's a public ledger of chronologically stored. So, So,
So,
yeah, and
yeah.
but that was a little ambitious. We don't even have health care for ourselves right now. So some people would rather give money to dogs than humans, or to animals than humans. But we can still achieve that.
Wow.
With the project we're doing. So.
Well, here's the premise. The entire exchange itself is going to be owned by the people that get involved and actually just show kindness. Literally, we have a bounty system where we encourage people to do kind things, vlog it, upload it to a portion of our community, and we will actually airdrop you more tokens just for doing something and having proof of kindness, proof of care, for instance. That's a way that you can actually get involved and earn tokens in our earn drop. So, yep. And you can also find us on social media as well. So, yeah, this is the portion of the website right here, which is the earn drop.
So if you like our page, you know, just basic stuff to earn, you know, to grow marketing. But
Yep.
the true purpose is, when I was speaking with him about this project, and he was like, well, let's just open up an exchange where the trading fees go to charities. It was mind-blowing to me because it's passive donations. Like, people are going to trade cryptocurrencies every day no matter what. But the ambitious part, like, we can execute everything. We've already executed everything. We're talking with charities, good charities, doing work that they can show it. The true ambitious part is, now we have tax professionals on our website, and now you're paying your taxes while you're trading because you're donating to charities. So there's a little anarchy, but that's the ambitious part. Everything else is executable right off the bat, and providing liquidity to charities, because charities don't have a lot of funding. Like, oh, well, we have to wait for this fund, we have to wait for this. But every day with cryptocurrency trading, you can literally have money in the bank every day to make impacts in people's lives every day. So.
Exactly. And once again, we're just bootstrapping it with people's time in the community that actually care about wanting to co-opt community giving through tokenization and trade as a pair against our token. And that's the intrinsic value once, of course, the infrastructure and the prototype DEX is online and operational for anybody in our community to be alerted. So, yeah.
So it's a good cause. There's a lot of altruistic value. To me, if we raise money and nothing else succeeds from it, I'm giving it all to charity. Like, our goal is to, you know, the best thing in a project is to be forked, or to have someone steal your software, your idea. Like that's our goal. Like, hopefully tons of people would want to steal this idea and help charities, real charities, because that's the problem. Is a lot of us have lost our, you know, hope in charity, like, because they pay 90% to call centers, and so now we don't really want to give to people that are supposedly helping people. But we're going to show the impact that these charities are making. You know, the people here, you know, I've met a lot of people here. I've known a lot of people here from the internet, actually. And they've made a big impact on people's lives, and that's what really I see blockchain has done. It's brought so many people wanting to make impacts, and it's brought so much money into this space to develop software and to just collaborate. You know, Steemit was a big project that I was a part of. You know, people just got together and just built projects, whether or not they were that great, but people got together and they started collaborating just like everybody else here. So I want to thank you all, and I'm glad y'all are here. This is an awesome convention, so thanks.
I just want to thank Russell and Patrick also for their gracious sponsorship, which was paid in Ethereum to help support us put this event on. Thank you. Also, Dash has got a representative here. Brian, he's got a Dash ATM over there. If you haven't checked it out yet, please go over there. It's really cool. Learn how to play with it.
All right, so we fucking did it, guys. We have reached the very last panel and presentation of the whole conference. Give yourselves a round of applause for showing up and being the best fucking audience for the very first Anarchadelphia. All right, so we're going to get some chairs set up. Give us about 4 minutes, and we'll get that rolling for you guys. Thank you for your patience.
3 chairs, 2 mics. That's all we got. You got it? Yeah. Do your thing. Yeah,